All right, time to be talking about the Apothecary Diaries Season 2 anime, which is currently airing right now as I'm recording this video. There's only one more episode left to drop next week, but I figured to talk about this show right now because this second season in general and the show as a whole is one of a kind, really unique, something that I absolutely want to talk about right now. And if you've been following this channel up to this point, you may have instantly noticed that I've been like a huge Apothecary Diaries advocate from the two videos I dropped regarding the Crunchyroll Anime Awards to, again, kind of glazing over this show out of the wazoo from those videos. And I just want to talk about it and get out of the way now because I think this is a one of a kind special show. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into my thoughts and feelings of the show in this transition here. And of course, before we can talk about the second season of the Pop Story Diaries, I gotta talk about the first season that came out back in 2023. And to sum up the Pop Story Diaries, the first season, and again, I will tell you right now, I highly recommend watching the first season in greater context because if you go into the second season with open arms and just going in it raw, you're not going to understand what goes on in the second season unless you get the full context of what has happened throughout the first season. But to briefly give a summary of what the first season of Apostle Dares is about, it's about a girl named Mao Mao who essentially was a astute observer, just mind her own business, and one day she sadly got got plucked out of her peaceful life and into the lower echelons of the imperial court for reasons unbeknownst to us. And throughout this, we see that Mao Mao sells in pretty fondly, and using her knowledge of medicine and her skills as a doctoress that she has taught over the years, she pretty much performs some pretty mundane stuff in order to avoid getting unwanted attention. However, that unwanted attention leaves the attention of Jinchi-san, who essentially realizes like, hey, this girl Mao Mao is a little bit different and mischievous, and actually knows her way around certain things around the court, and knows all these medical expertise in poison. And sure enough, she is appointed the apothecary of the imperial court. And, throughout the first season of the show, we see her perform these musical tasks while also solving these interesting and mysterious mysteries that happen throughout the first season. And throughout the first season of the show, to wrap up my little summary here, Mao Mao and to an extent Jinshi actually goes on this mystery solving kind of esque moment where she's basically solving a lot of the things that's going on within the Imperial Court itself. From um, the numerous amount of times that Lihua and Gilkyo get sabotaged by certain courtesans to solving a lot of mysterious questions of why certain things have kind of unraveled the way they are. But again, this is a show that, once again, when you watch the first season, I feel like you need to watch it more to get a full context of what I am trying to say. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to explain the first season super well, as this is a show that is really strong and holds up really well to this day. So, in this case, we gotta go into the second season, and the second season of the show. Um, this is one of those rare moments where I'm gonna come on camera here and say that I cannot spoil this show at all. This is a show that for me is super unique, really special, really taking everything that was left off from the first season, but is elevated to bigger heights, bigger risk, bigger like holy shit, like what is gonna happen here? And you won't feel that way at all. So for anyone that watches this show and gives the show a shot, just know that like it does at first start like a bit of a slow burner, believe it or not. I will admit the first 12 episodes of the show, it starts off a little bit slow. There's not whole lot of like push per se, is like where it's all leaning to, but but in this later half, the second half of the second season, it's enhanced so well, it's supported really well, to the point that like, man, everything that you saw from the first half of the second season actually plays an important role into the second season super well. And I think they did that super well with how they tell the story of and the progression of this show. So, um, again, I'm trying to my best to like tiptoe around this because this is a show that I just want anyone who really wants to watch a good quality anime to give a shot. This show is amazing. The animation is stupendous. It is clean. It is still holding up like it was from the first season. The music is still killer, no filter. It is still absolutely amazing. Mao Mao doing her thing, Jinchi doing his thing. His role in the second season, I'll say right now, has changed and has morphed drastically from the first season. If you know Jinchi from the first season, how he played a role, you know his role up until this point. And I'm talking to anyone who's like the Apothecary Diaries fan like myself. But in the second season, his role is so different now and is elevated to bigger heights now, to the point that Jinchi is actually now in the bigger, grander scheme of things that is to come. And we won't realize it until the second half of season two. So there's that. And again, of course, you do have your moments where we get to see Gyoko sama and other ladies in waiting in here, just like we did in the first season. But I'll tell you right now, some key characters in the show that really play a role into shaping what I think is like a really great sequel of a season is the introduction of a new character here, Shizui, who, at one point, as everyone would know, she is someone who is kind of similar to like Mao Mao's friend that she made in the first season with Xiaolong, and Shizui plays a super interesting role, which honestly I did not see coming at all from a mile away. And again, it's crazy that Shizui plays a pretty interesting role in the second season that has instantly gone down as like my most favorite and beloved character of the second season of this show in general. Like I'll tell you right now that it's a lot to take in with what's going to be fed at you when you go into this second season. But I feel like if you go into the season with super high hopes and with the full knowledge of what you learned from the first season, you are going to get a lot of bang for your buck for the second season. That's all I'll say right now. Um, and again, the show still maintains a lot of the unique qualities and what made the show special from what we got from the first season. Case in point, again, for the first 12 episodes, which was a bit of a slow burner in my opinion, it is still playing into the effect that, hey, this is Mao Mao and she knows medicine and poisons and she's trying to solve all these mysteries and conspiracies that are plaguing within the imperial court itself. To Jinshi playing a pretty big role later on into the second half of the season, which was something that I did not expect at all, but it actually plays an interesting and make actually makes a lot of sense kind of role. So yeah, I kind of want to make this one pretty quick. And again, I wish I could talk more about this, but I feel like any little detail I talk about the second season, I'm gonna instantly spoil the whole second season as a whole. Because again, this show is one of a kind. It is unique. The voice acting is stellar. The characters, characteristically, are still amazing. Even the newer characters and the new villains that pop up in this second season are super menacing, super good. I'll even say this right now because I know there's a clip that's been flowing online regarding Jinchi and a certain scene of his, but there is a moment in the scene where Jinchi shows his true dark fucking colors when he's like in a really serious moment and he loses his composure as a eunuch. And that alone was enough to be like, man, that kind of sealed the deal as like this is an amazing second season. So, once again, I wish I could talk more in detail of what happens in this second season, but I feel like it's my obligation to just say no. This is one that is special. This is a show that for me, you have to give a watch. And once again, I highly implore you to please, please, please check out the first season. That way, you have a full context of what goes on in the second season. Because otherwise, for anyone that wants to watch this, assuming like, hey, it's a brand new anime, I'm gonna check it out. You're going to immediately probably dislike it because you don't know the full context and the full background of what happened in the first season. And again, this show is still relatively fresh and brand new. This first season came out back in 2023. Oh, it came out around shows that were juggernauts at the time, with Free Run to Spy Family season two, um, to to again a ton of these big juggernaut shows, more or less. So the fact that it came out not that long ago is pretty crazy how much time has flown. But yeah, I'm gonna stop here and just say season two of Apothecary Diaries is a 100% must watch anime. And as of right now, even though I haven't finished everything yet because I'm waiting for the last episode, I have to give this thing a strong 9. It's borderline close to a 10 out of 10 season 2. It is that close. And I cannot implore anyone to check the show out any more than what needs to be said. So yeah, I just want to talk about this and just kind of gush over grains over a show that I absolutely freaking love and I think is gonna go down as probably my favorite anime of the year. And again, I say probably because we have a ton more animes coming out for the rest of the year. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. I'll see you in the next one. Later.